Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at the Shadow variant of Victreebel with the new move, a Magical Leaf. I told you before that I would take a look at this Pokemon again as soon as it's going to be available for like LilyNiRiain, which is now the case. So now you should be able to put the new move Magical Leaf, if you want to of course, onto your Victreebel that you already have built. And so here I decided to go for it on my Shadow Shiny variant, which is kinda nice. And we're gonna play a very toxic team here today. And I was curious if this team still can work in the current meta, because meta shifted a little bit, and I have to say, as the opponent already forfeits the first battle, it did quite well. So I did a total of 14 battles with this team here, and I have to say that I lost 2 battles in the beginning, which you don't see here because I did put in my wrong Wigglytuff, and this mattered quite a bit, because I had Ice Beam as well as, I think it was Play Rough on it, which literally cost me 2 games, so that was great because I didn't realize it on the first battle, so good job me. And otherwise you're gonna see the entirety of the last 2 sets that I played with this team, as well as a bit of the first set where I didn't have the wrong moveset on my Wigglytuff, because there's actually also a battle that I kind of want to showcase here as well, where we can see a little bit of something that I also learned throughout the battles, which kind of helped me out later on, which you're gonna see here later on anyway here. But basically, there were some things that I kind of had to note and kind of have to think about this team, because I haven't really played for a long time and stuff changed, and so there are certain matchups that you kind of want to play a little bit differently as we can win again. Here, for example, is going to be a matchup that's going to be a little bit interesting for you as a Bastiodon user, especially if you have a Shadow variant like I have. You don't need the Shadow variant for Bastiodon. Usually, the normal variant is actually the better one to go for. Here, I would recommend you to go for a shield on the first one. This is way more important in my opinion, just to go for a shield on the first one here, because basically, most people are going to go straight for the dig here. They're barely going to bait against you with like a double resisted, what's called aerial ace. And so here we're going to be in a little bit of a tough spot. The opponent can still go for a charge move. We can shield up this move, but yeah, we have to see what they're going to have in the back. It's going to be a dig, so it's great shield from me, but it's going to be in the back a Skarmory, so we have no chance of winning this one. Next opponent, LilyNiRiain in the lead. Here are 2 different options that you can go for. You can either go into your Talonflame or into your Victreebel. And here I decided to go into my Victreebel. And you're going to see here something interesting on my Victreebel as well. We are running still Acid Spray. And you might think, oh, did he forget to change the moveset here as well? No, he did not, because I kinda just want to try out if Acid Spray might not be better than Sludge Bomb. Because Sludge Bomb a lot of times does not really make too much of a difference on this Pokemon. Just because, yeah, there are some Pokemon of course going to get hit harder from like a Sludge Bomb, but if you think about the most common Fairy type Pokemon, it's most likely going to be something like an Azumarill, which we're going to be able to hit with the Leaf Blade anyway. And Leaf Blade is 35 energy for 70 damage, while Sludge Bomb is 50 energy for 80 damage. And so you basically need 15 more energy to get a little bit more damage. I feel like it's just not really worth it. So I feel like Acid Spray might still has some play here, as we're going to encounter the Lanturn from the opponent, which is going to be a tough one, but we can go for one AC Wind. And we're going to be able to, yeah, get the attack drop here, which is going to be crucial now, as they're going to do less damage. And so we can get more fast move pressure in here. And so Icy Wind is definitely the better play here, because otherwise they would have been able to farm me down here. Now they're forced to go for another Surf. They're going to be very low, which they wouldn't have been otherwise. And so Icy Wind definitely the better play for me here for sure, as he can definitely still survive a Surf as well now because of the Icy Wind debuff. Surf coming through, not going to do enough damage. In comes Feraligatr, out comes Feraligatr, winning this battle. Next opponent, we're going to have the Gligar again in the lead, and Gligar can be a little bit of a tough one to deal with, but let's see how we can deal with this Pokemon right now. Again, we can stay in here for the lead matchup, which is kind of okay for me, and this time around I think I decided to go for a shield immediately, which is the better play to go for, because now they're going to be forced to go for another dig afterwards, and I think you can actually win this pretty easily, just going straight for the shield and going straight for the fast move down basically. In the 2-shield scenario, just because you do so much more damage against the Shadow Gligar. But as you can see here, there might still be in a range where Aerial Ace is going to be enough, but we will find out if they're going to go for the Aerial Ace or for the dig. They decide to go ahead and go for the Aerial Ace, and so I can actually align myself. And alignment on this team can be very crucial, but it is always a little bit awkward to lose your Bastion, by the way, for this team, because they're common Pokemon that you cannot really deal with the backline. For example, Fire types like a Talonflame, or something like a Skarmory is going to be basically an instant loss if you're going to lose the elite. So here we were a little bit lucky, because the opponent is going to have another Pokemon that is a very tough one for us to deal with, but we actually have an okay matchup here. We're going to, this time around, go for the Disarming Voice against the opponent Shadow Alone and Sandslash. Because they're running the fast move of Shadow Claw, we're going to have a better matchup for ourselves. And here's something which I would say is a huge benefit of having the Shadow variant here of the Victreebel with the move Magical Leaf. because you're actually going to be able to easily win the matchup against Dugong, even energy down, because you can just outspeed them fairly easily with your own charge moves now, which is something that was not possible prior. And so now, like this, we're going to be actually able to win this game just because of the new fast move. And what do I think in general about the new fast move? I honestly think it is better than Razor Leaf. My opinion is it is just way better than Razor Leaf, actually. Razor Leaf is cool, like, don't get me wrong, there are going to still be scenarios where Razor Leaf is going to be great as well. But you don't rely as much anymore on, like, just going for the raw, like, farm down against the opponent. And this is something that I enjoy quite a bit and that I think is great for this Pokemon itself, just being not only like a toxic Pokemon anymore. You have like way more play, have like way more different options, and you just actually have now charge move pressure, which is kinda great because you have basically the best charge move in the game while being also a stab move for you. It is just kinda great to have like Leaf Blade here in the current meta. So I have to say, I just enjoy this Pokemon a lot. I think it's a great Pokemon. I think Magical Leaf is a great addition. I think this team is amazing. So like, feel free to go ahead and copy this team. I had, like, my last 2 sets was, like, a 9-1 run, which you might also see, like, in the title with that as well. But, yeah, this team was amazing. And the more I played it, the more I liked it as well, which is kind of wild. So, here, we're going to see the opponent is going to be able to go for another charge move. It doesn't do enough damage to knock us out either. We can get a ton of energy with our own Bastiodon. In comes the opponent's Lanturn again. Here I decided to use a shield. Not too sure if this was a smart decision to do, by the way, but it is going to put the opponent into a range where we can farm them down as well on my Victreebel. And so I can swap out. They're going to have a Gligar in the back. And usually, Gligar, horrible matchup, right? Now we're going to be able to actually go for the Magical Leaf here because we had like a little bit of an advantage in terms of the energy in the beginning because I swapped out before the opponent. And so we can actually even knock out the opponent's Gligar. And this is going to make it like this so much easier for me. And this is going to be also the 5-0 set that we had here already. And we can move on to the final set for today. So basically, Pokemon that were a little bit more difficult before the change are now a little bit easier. Like the Gligar, as we just saw, would be something for the team that would be way more tough to deal with, but with the new Magical Leaf and some extra energy, you're going to be just way better off than just trying to rely on the pure Razor Leaf damage. So I feel like it is a great update, and also I have no idea why the opponent's staying in here with a Mantine against Bastiodon if you're not even running Water Pulse, because like what can be in the back that is worse for us? It's going to be a Hypno. Hypno would have been better for them to just swap into the Hypno and try their best basically against the Bastion. It would have been a way better play for them most likely, but yeah, like this game is already over at this point. Like we have a 100 energy, nearly full HP variant of our Bastion, and we have a Whiscash that's going to be aligned against the Victreebel. So it is what is. So otherwise, what do I think about the move Acid Spray on the Victreebel? It's okay. Like, there were some matchups where I really enjoyed it. I'm not too sure, like, when we're gonna see them or if we're gonna see them. But, like, basically, the thing is, like, there were some matchups where you can take advantage of something like a Bastion a little bit easier if you have the Acid Spray. So, here, next opponent. We're going to swap this time around into the Wigglytuff. Here, by the way, say swap of this team depends on what you're going to encounter in the lead. For example, here, my Victreebel would have been better against the opponent's Jellicent, and so I decided to go into the other Pokemon. So you always want to go into the weaker Pokemon, basically. Here, I was not expecting a Trailblazer as the first move, but a Body Slam, and I want to debuff them prior. But here, as you can see, the opponent uses a shield, I use a shield, so that's going to be a great scenario for me. As the opponent is already below half health, we're going to take the next Trailblaze from them, and I don't think going for the Trailblaze is actually the way to go as agreed. And by the way, Trailblaze does basically, I think it's like 5 more damage total compared to the Body Slam, but because Stab, I think Body Slam does like 7 more damage total and is needing like 15 less energy, I think it is. So like, I don't think that Trailblaze is the right play in this kind of scenario, but it is what it is. They will be able to realign, but it doesn't really matter because they're going to have a Gustout in the back. I still going to keep some energy for later on, and I don't really feel too scared of this matchup. Like against the opponents, Gustout, we still would have the Leaf Blade, which is going to be great, but even here I can just go ahead and go for a Stone Edge after this one. A Surf we can easily survive here as well, as this is coming through here. We can even survive another one, so I feel like we're going to be in a very decent spot here to try to win this game. Stone Edge is going to put them into farmland range, and so as the opponent realizes they don't get to another charge move, they decide to forfeit. Next opponent, look at this, it's another Mantine, but this time around, this Mantine is staying in here again. And so, maybe this time around it's not going to be an Ice Beam variant, let's find out together. It is going to be a Water Pulse variant, so this did way more damage than it really needed to. Yeah, again, like, the Shadow variant of Bastion is more of a fun pick. Like, I would not really recommend you to go for it if you only, like, if you have not built your normal Bastion yet. Normal Bastion is definitely way better than the Shadow variant, but this time around, like, compared to the video that I did before, like, around the Shadow variant of the Bastiodon, I actually felt like this time around this Pokemon had a little bit more of a benefit. Like, last time I was like, yeah, okay, it's way worse than the normal variant. This time around, there were definitely some matchups where I actually enjoyed it more than the normal variant, so that's kind of great for me at least. So it's not as clear as, for example, I said it in the last video where I tried this Pokemon out. I feel like this time around it's a little bit better. Here we're going to have a Whiscash against us. This is going to be a lovely fodder for our Victreebel as the opponent swaps out into a Dugong. And as we saw before already, this matchup is actually now a way better one for the Victreebel. Like, this is going to be completely flipping at what it was basically before, because before, yeah, we still did like a lot of fast move damage and we would be able to most likely win this in like a 2-shield scenario or whatever. But like this, we actually going to be able to pressure them way more with our Leaf Blades. And so we were actually able to align ourselves and do a ton of damage against the Whiscash. We actually just farm him down and win this game. Here is something that I kind of want to talk about. If you encounter a Lanturn, I would recommend you to stay in and go for a Stone Edge. This is kind of my recommendation. From what I kind of saw before and whatever, I feel like it is the better play to go for. You cannot really stay in for the entire period basically, because you kind of need to keep your Bastion alive, but afterwards you can just go ahead and go into your Wigglytuff and you're going to have a way better time with that anyway. I decided to use a shield here just in case it's going to be a Thunderbolt, but they actually decided to go for the bait here, which is kind of mad, especially as they're going to have in the back the Charizard. So I really wish that I didn't go for the move that I went for, but at least we were able to bait out the hardest answer to our Victreebel while maintaining our Pokemon here in the back, which is going to be our Bastion. So that's going to be great, right? I wait out the switch clock, which is totally fine. I'm going to wait out here as well, and I'm going to also give the opponent, I want to give the opponent more farm, but that did not really work out. But it doesn't really matter because the opponent swaps back into the Lanturn. I can align myself with my Victreebel. I'm going to let the move go through. It is going to be the Surf, and let's see what they're going to have in the back. It's going to be the Lostheart, and here we can at least go for the Acid Spray. Does it really matter though? It is going to be a tough matchup for us to still win. Acid Spray coming through. I was hoping that we would get a shield here, but we didn't, and so sadly, there's basically no way of me winning this game anymore. I can let the move go through. Crunch is not going to knock me out, but yeah, it is what it is. Good game there. Let's move on to the final battle of today. So basically, if I would have got the shield there, I would have been able to most likely just maybe use the shield myself, or like just go for the Stone Edge and would have had a better time, and maybe still had a chance of winning this game, but it is what it is. We can move on to the next opponent here, which has a Feraligatr again. Shadow Feraligatr going to run the fast move of Shadow Claw, but the charge move was doing so much damage, so shielding up the first one is definitely the way to go. And I think they have another Greedent here, which we can try to debuff again, which is kind of great for me, because like this should be kind of farm down range for our own Bastion. And this is going to be great for me because Bastion is going to take a lot of energy with that. I'm most likely going to go up to 100 energy against the opponent's Greedent. And again here, the Shadow variant is actually maybe a little bit better because we can just farm them down a little bit easier. And so they can boost their own attack here, which is totally fine. Like Trailblaze is coming through here. It's not going to really bother me too much. But as we can see here, they're most likely still going to get to another one. Or is it just a Body Slam? This might be even just a Body Slam. It is, and so yeah, we're gonna end up here with a ton of energy. Let's see what's coming back in here. It is going to be the Feraligatr and swap out immediately. Lurantis in the back is going to be a tough one because they're going to have a scenario here right now where of course the Acid Spray is going to be great for me, but they're going to be in a scenario where if they go for a superpower, they basically win. So I have to hope that they go for the Leaf Blade, and they do decide to go for the Leaf Blade. A double resisted move. Superpower would have knocked me out because it was single resisted and does a little bit more damage, but here, as you're gonna see, we're gonna get them kind of low. We can still go for a Stone Edge, but we have to hope that Feraligatr is in range for basically 3 smackdowns in order for me to win this game. So let's see if this is going to work out for us. In comes the Stone Edge, knocking out the opponent. Can we farm them down in time? We can. And this was a 4-1 set for my final one. So again here, showcasing how this team worked. Climbed up quite a bit with this one. So highly would recommend you to try out this very toxic team. But yeah, Victreebel with the new move Magical Leaf, in my opinion, way better than Razor Leaf. But that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like. And I'll see you then. Bye bye.